Hello everybody, Greg2G here, and today in this video I'm going to give you my review of Raziel. I've played probably about 200 hours in this game so far, and I did enjoy it for the most part. But, you know, I always try to wait until later on, at least after 100 hours, before I do a review of a game. Because, you know, a lot of games I'll start off and really have a lot of fun playing it, but you never really know what it's going to be like after 100 hours, and in this case 200 hours. So, that being said, I have a lot of experience with this game and can now give my full, unbiased review without my mind being clouded by the honeymoon phase of playing a video game. Before we get started though, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe for future mobile action RPG content. Diablo Immortal will be probably the huge focus of the channel once that finally comes out. So if you like the builds and guides I've made for Raziel and other games in the past, you will definitely like what we'll have for Diablo Immortal coming in the near future. Alright, so let's get into this review of Raziel Dungeon Arena. We'll start off with the pros this time around. So one big thing about this game, which I love, is that it has no auto play, no auto combat, no auto questing, no auto whatsoever really. And that is one big reason that makes it better than 99% of other mobile games out there, just based on that fact. There's no auto, you have to go in and do everything yourself, and even if you're a free-to-play player, you can play the game at a higher level and a more efficient level than even people that spend tons and tons of money on the game. So yeah, one big plus is there's no auto in it. So that was like one of the main reason I've put about 200 hours into this game. Compared to other games I've played over the years, I think World of Kings is probably the next closest with probably around 150 hours. But yeah, the main thing is no auto. So big plus right there, and that's what makes it pretty much the best multiplayer action RPG on mobile right now. Next is it has a really good amount of skills and a nice talent tree. So every class has a pretty decent variety of skills that do lots and lots of different things and lots of different play styles. And the talent trees are really nice too. You can mix and match the talent trees and come up with a lot of interesting builds because of the talent tree. A lot of games these days don't even have a talent tree whatsoever, so I'm very happy to have that in this game. And the last pro I will say is that there's some pretty good challenging content. I mean, starting out in the game, it's really easy. I mean, I would say the first 50 hours, it's pretty much a breeze, but you do start to get to some challenging content later on in the game, some challenging taverns, some challenging limited boss battles and sort of things. But yeah, this sort of leads us into the negatives. The cons is yeah, there's some good challenging content, but there's like a whole bunch of limitations on the challenging content. So there's too many limitations on basically everything in the game. The only thing you can really actually farm is the worst part of the game, and that's the shuttle gate. The shuttle gate is really freaking boring. Every time you go into a mission, it's the same exact mobs, the same type of mobs, everything's exactly the same, and it's just boring. And yeah, it's the only thing that you can really farm in the game. So yeah, there's just too many limitations. I think that's probably the number one thing that's kind of killing the game right now. We can only get rewards from tavern like 3 or 4 times a day. The limited bosses are obviously limited, and you can only do them twice. It's just, yeah, there's just too many limitations on this game, and that's one of the big reasons it's kind of going downhill right now. The next thing I would say is like the gear is just too easy to get. Like, I mean, you just use the Jester to get your superior or normal sets. Yeah, you could argue, yeah, you cannot get the Aeon gear from the Jester, which is, it's not really that big of a deal though. Like, it's just, starting out, it's just too easy to get. And like, more on that point is there's just not enough variety, not enough gear options. There's maybe 2 builds per character. So I think some of them have 3 builds that are kind of viable, but like for Guardian, for example, or Bison, for example, Guardian's basically the only real viable build right now if you want to like play solo. And you know, most of the other characters also don't have very many options. Like, you have to use the set items for the most part. Most of the legendaries, especially the legendary weapons, like, okay, so you basically have to use a set weapon because all the legendary weapons are stupid and ridiculous, and they have an active skill with a very long cooldown that's mostly useless for the most part. Like, I would love to see some legendary weapons with some passive abilities on them to just add a little bit more variety there. And yeah, I would like to see more sets as well. There's 3 sets. I mean, we do have the general sets as well, the Manic set, the Plague set, and the Everwinter set, which are, I've tried out the T1 versions. They weren't very good compared to our other class sets. So I would like to see maybe those generic sets improved or strengthened or buffed or whatever. Long story short, there's just not enough variety of gear, and the methods for obtaining the gear are kind of made obsolete by the Jester. There's just not a really good way to farm gear or fun way to farm gear in this game at all, really. A few more cons about this game is the terrible in-game chat system. The chat system is just like, what is it? It limits you to like, what, like 70 characters or something per message. Is just really, really terrible and clunky. Everything about the chat system is just bad. It's like, they just need to overhaul that completely, in my opinion. The guild systems are pretty bad as well. Like there's this faction system which doesn't actually do anything but make it so your guild is impossible to find unless you're in the apostates. Everything in the guild system, like you have to get 100 people online every day donating to get all the rewards. You actually are kind of punished for leveling up your guild in that way. It seems like the more and more you level up, the more and more active players you need. There are no like guild events that bring your guild together. Everything about the guild is just kind of makes you mad at each other. Like if not everyone comes on and donates, you guys mostly just get mad at each other for not being active enough. There's really nothing that can actually bring the guild together at all in any sort of way. And there's no like guild castle or there's nothing. There's just nothing. The PvP in the game is pretty pointless, and that's pretty much it. It's pointless. Not balanced. There's no way. I mean, I wasn't expecting the PvP in this game to actually be any good at all, but yeah, I don't even know why they even have it in the game. And to top everything off, the game is just too pay to win. There's just way too many pay to win aspects to the game. I mean, yeah, it's not as pay to win as some other games that I've played. It's not as bad, but that's not an excuse. Like, just because you're not as pay to win as another game doesn't mean you get a pass. Like, there's so many systems in this game, like gems, for example. They're basically a huge pay to win aspect of the game. There's tons and tons of offers to buy gems, but like if you're a free to play player, there's basically no way to really farm them. You're pretty much limited per day on how many gems you can get by the amount of world quests you can do. And then costumes and the other gacha systems, of course. Like, of course, they had to put stats on the costumes, so there's certain costumes that have more stats than others, and yeah, the only way to really get some of those are by using green diamonds to use the gacha system. That's just a terrible pay-to-win system right there as well. All in all, I did enjoy playing the game a lot. The game's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed making builds for different characters and things. That was probably the #1 most fun thing to do in the game, is just, you know, making builds. There's just so many options and stuff you can do with all the talent trees and stuff. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, at a certain point, you kind of hit this wall where you just kind of feel like you're getting on every day and doing chores, because you're only limited to doing certain things so much per day. I literally feel like I'm like the game is my parent. Like they're saying, oh, you can, as long as you do this and this and this, and then you can do this for maybe 5 minutes, and then yeah, maybe come back tomorrow and we can do it again. Like come on, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. But yeah, that all being said, it is one of the best mobile games I've played in a while. And that's kind of sad to say, considering that it has a lot of problems, lots of problems. But yeah, I really did enjoy it for the most part. I'll probably continue playing it off and on. I'm probably not gonna, unless they make some major changes. You know, one of the guys in the official Discord is constantly telling us how he wants this to be, and this is one of the people that works for them, by the way. He's like, yeah, I'm telling them we should change this and change that. Yeah, we don't want this to be this way, and yeah, we want you guys to have more freedom, that sort of thing. But I feel like he's just kind of jerking our chain at this point, because nothing's changed at all. And yeah, if something does change, then I'll come back and maybe I'll alter my review, make a second review on the changes they've made. But at this point, yeah, the game is fun for a while. I wouldn't spend too much money or get too involved into it, but you know, I spent $150 for 200 hours. I always try to use this system where if you spend less than $1.50 per hour played, I think it's a pretty good investment. So I got less than $1 per hour played, and I had fun with it for the most part. So that's my review for Raziel. Yeah, it's kind of I was like so torn on this game. Like I love it and hate it at the same time. It's worth playing though. Like, I would at least give it a shot. If you're into action RPGs, Diablo style games, it's definitely the best one on mobile so far. I would just warn you not to expect it to last forever. You probably get a good 100 hours before you start feeling the burn of repetitiveness. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on twitch.tv/Greg2G, twitter.com/Greg2G, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Stay beautiful. We'll see you next time. GG's.